Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for our live reaction and player ratings live stream following Middlesbrough 0, Chelsea 2. How's that for sporting integrity? How is that for sporting integrity? Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Another trip to Wembley. We do well in semi-finals at least, so we can worry about our curse there once we get to a final. But for the time being, it's another semi-final on Thomas Tuchel's CV, another semi-final on our CV, and I'm pretty pleased. It wasn't amazing, but, we got 2 reasonably early goals in the first half, put the game to bed, essentially. Didn't let them come back into it. So we made Man United and Spurs look like silly idiots because, obviously, they were knocked out by Middlesbrough. And, in the grand scheme of things, good day. So, I'm pretty happy. Clutch, thank you for joining me, as always, mate. Agree with my sentiment, really. Just not the greatest performance of all time, but job done, unlike 2 of our rivals in the past against them.
Yeah, I mean, everything outside the game seemed like it was perfectly brewing for us to go out this round, whether it be they knocked out United, Spurs, even though I don't think that's much of a feat these days. But it just seems like everything was getting ready to point to us going out of that, and then we come out and we get 2 quick goals like that, It wasn't the greatest of performances, but we get it done in the end, and just glad that, like I said, my brain kind of turned off the last 15 minutes of that game. It kind of seemed like we were just looking to see it out, and that Boro didn't really have anything to kind of give at the end. So for me, it was a good performance. I would say decently. I like to see the back four as usual, and seeing Mace and Ziyech both play so well in the positions that I think are their best positions, and one of the main reasons why I want to use the back four. And validating my opinion on that, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I agree. Honestly, I agree. They played well overall. Can't really complain. Pies, let me get to you. What do you think? Similar thoughts to myself and Clutch? Just happy that we got through it because obviously it wasn't easy going into the game. Obviously, the whole drama between ourselves and Middlesbrough, for some odd reason, calling for the game to be behind closed doors because we weren't allowed to sell tickets aside from the tickets on the away scheme, which had already been sold, which is why there was only 600 Chelsea fans today rather than the allocated 5,000, which is obviously a big difference. Also, credit to the boys for, turning up again. Obviously, I'm pretty sure haven't we won every game since all of this drama started? Honestly, we are absolutely gargantuan. So, yeah, not always the prettiest, but sometimes you just need to get the job done, right?
Yeah, it's 6 out of 6 since we got sanctioned. 12 wins out of our last 13 games. The only loss being against Liverpool, which was on penalties. So, yeah, I'm just happy we got through. Middlesbrough created a very good atmosphere, but our fans delivered, to be fair, as well. I heard them quite a few times. And, yeah, we played really well, I thought, today. Thiago Silva, obviously man of the match. He was just so good in defence. Mason Mount, Ziyech, Lukaku getting the goal. Pulisic played well. I thought there was a lot of good performances out there today, so I'm happy.
There you go. Couldn't agree more. VJ, thank you for joining us once again, all the way from India. I hope you're well, first and foremost. And similar thoughts to us 3, or you're slightly less excited because the performance itself wasn't that great?
No, I'm actually overly excited. Maybe my face doesn't show the reaction, but I am overly excited for the result because, a lot of things going away from the stadium. If you talk about Chelsea right now, the first thing that comes to your mind is about the sanctions and then the owners who's going to be taking up the ownership, managing all of this. I mean, I kind of understand, though I have not been through it, I kind of get what should be running in the player's mindset and how difficult it is to come to a pitch and then perform that too against an away crowd. Most of games has been on the away side as well after the sanction part. So I think we've done a great job in coming to an away stadium and still performing to the best of our abilities. Amazing performance. I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, tactically you wouldn't say it was like a 4-0 or a 5-0 that you would expect. But this is Middlesbrough, who won against Manchester United and who's also won against Tottenham Hotspur. Though you don't still call them top clubs, but they're still in the Premier League in the 4th, 5th position right now. So getting a win against Middlesbrough in their home ground, 2-0. Amazing performance from Ziyech. Mount. I was in the con space before the game started. I told him I'm excited to see Mount and Ziyech combining once again because they were actually doing it before Ziyech's injury, and I wanted that to just it should be a pass and start sort of a thing. Like if one drops and then the other one just takes over from there, or when the other person comes in, it should just keep proceeding. I think they did that. Like it didn't look like these guys have not been playing together for quite some time. Amazing performance once again. Lukaku as well got a goal for himself. What do you have to say about that, Laurenz, now?
Well,
yeah, simple tap in there, but
it was simple tap, and I thought he played well, to be honest. Well, maybe a slight overstep, but he played pretty well. Yeah, no, he played well. Nothing. Even I'm not complaining. I mean, I would prefer it for both him and Ziyech if they were celebrating. I don't understand, but we're not celebrating goals in the quarterfinal of any competition. Like, I'm not saying knee slide and, go mental, but, at least celebrate a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
I'm going to say one
makes
thing.
me feel more happy about us scoring as well. If they don't seem happy, I will be less happy. I find that a bit strange, no matter who the player is, by the way. If Mason Mount didn't celebrate, I would find that equally as weird as Lukaku not celebrating or Ziyech. It doesn't matter to me who it is. But I find it strange.
But Laurenz, to be honest, by this time we should have just been, reaching a mindset where we know that Ziyech is anyways not going to celebrate, because that's what he's been doing for the last 3-4 months. It's not that he started doing it all of a sudden. So I think 4 months is more than enough for us to
I think he only didn't celebrate the Brighton goal, because then he scored against Spurs, and he celebrated that when he scored his absolute screamer. And today's goal was really good as well. Like, Lukaku can understand a bit more because it's just the tap in. I mean, like, he knows I didn't have to do that much.
It was all Mount's work.
So, but yeah, hey, each their own, obviously. But for me, it's like, just celebrate. Feel happy. It's good to feel happy. Makes yourself feel better if you smile. Make it be happy. Ladies and gentlemen, be happy. It's always a good advice for life. Just try to be as happy as you can. Before we get into more details of the game, just quickly want to touch on, obviously, that the deadline in terms of bids from potential buyers for Chelsea Football Club was at 9 p.m. UK time last night. How many bids is it overall price? Is it like 20 or so, did they say? Or 30?
Jacob Steinberg said 30. Nizar said 27. So, I don't know. I don't think anyone knows exact number, but I'd imagine it's probably
around
20
30.
plus. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Obviously, it has, by Nizar Kintella, at least been said, and a couple of other people actually in the end, that the Saudi bid did in the end come in, obviously alongside Todd Bowley and his consortium, Nick Candy and who's now partnered up with some Korean, is it a company? I'm not 100% sure what exactly they are. There you go. I was kind of out of the loop of things yesterday, 2 days ago, whenever all of this stuff happened. I was like not really reading everything that was happening, if I'm being totally honest with you. But yeah, now there is a time span. Price, do we have a rough idea when we could find out a bit more? I read somewhere that it could be as early as Monday, but that's not guaranteed.
Monday, yeah. Monday, they said that they should have them whittled down to 3 or 4. That's what Nazar said. He reckons Monday morning.
And will that be announced who those 3 or 4 are, or will that just be behind the scenes?
I reckon it will get leaked. I reckon it will get leaked. I reckon probably Matt Law or one of the top reporters, I reckon, will find out, like they always do somehow.
Does make sense, to be fair. Yeah, there you go. And no, Cranky Pants, absolutely no worries at all. Some people apparently, where is it? Some people believed it. I mean, I read it and I was like, well, that's waffle. Yeah, it was reported by Gazzetta dello Sport in Italy that Rudiger had apparently agreed a contract for the summer with Juventus, which makes no sense in every direction. Now, number one, why would he do it now? Because now arguably we'll get a lesser offer, because everyone he's signing for knows he can't sign for Chelsea if he does it right now, number one. Number two, why would you go to Juve, who are absolutely in the mud, and already have arguably too many centre-backs, who they first need to get rid of? I mean, they signed De Ligt, and sometimes De Ligt doesn't even play. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a whole mess. It's a whole nightmare. But anyway, is there anything else that we need to discuss in terms of important things? I don't think so. Otherwise, we'll get to it later. What we will do, though, is get the lineup up on screen, because there was a bit of a, different thing to usual, shall we say. I mean, not in terms of formation, but there was a little bit of changing in there. I mean, Loftus-Cheek played, like I almost suggested yesterday, in what was mostly a Champions League draw reaction, but also a bit of a preview. But none of us expected a back four. I mean, obviously, Clutch is always a fan of the back four, but none of us really saw it coming, and I certainly didn't. VJ, why don't I start with you? Big surprise when the lineup came out and it was a back four. And if it wasn't a surprise, were you happy with it, with the team that we fielded?
I definitely was, because I always want a back four. Gives a bit of a rest for the defenders, for rotating and all that. So I always, want a back four. But then, given the injury that we had for Christensen as well, it wasn't really a surprising thing. Though, I would have still preferred a back five for this game. But then, Middlesbrough kind of wanted to come at us with a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 rather, right? So maybe this was kind of an alternate formation that we had ready, and we wanted to just, use that. But I think we this back four wasn't surprising, except for Loftus-Cheek. I was a bit concerned, going into the match with Loftus-Cheek just playing that, DM sort of a role. I wasn't sure how good he would perform in that particular role, because that was too much of work for him. So I was kind of a bit iffy about it. But then I think he still did a bit of justice to it. It wasn't that bad, to be honest. But yeah, I kind of expected if it was just going to be one person, it would be Jorginho, to be honest. So yeah, RLC was a bit surprising for me. Otherwise, I was fine with the back four.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, obviously as a single six, like I said that yesterday, was it? Like, people are still surprised about that and doubt it, but the fact that Tuchel says that's his best position, so that's why it doesn't surprise me when he plays there, because Tuchel said, in his opinion, single six is his best role. So here we are. TT said Jorginho was arrested. That's actually good to know, Bob. I didn't know that, because I thought he might have caught the Rona. I think but he had it fairly recently, but you never know these days. Just because he was left out of the squad completely, just like Sol and Kepa.
Laurenz, apologies to cut you off, but then one more surprise was Kepa not being in the squad at all. That was a bit surprising for me. I didn't know the reason. I still don't know.
He's ill.
So if you guys know. Okay.
He's ill.
Just ill, or the C word?
Apparently just illness.
Fair enough. Rather be safe than sorry. And obviously, most of you yesterday on the preview itself wanted Mendy to start anyway. I mean, I wanted Kepa to start, but hey, here we are. It is what it is. Jay, big up yourself. Cheers for being in the chat. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're here, be sure to subscribe and smash that like button for me. Heist, why don't I ask you, any big surprises? Obviously, the kind of obvious ones in terms of that VJ mentioned, Jorginho not being in the squad, Kepa not being in the squad, of course. But otherwise, big surprise. Very surprised, but happy with it, or were you kind of questioning it a little bit?
No, I mean, it was pretty much the team that I think I picked, but apart from back four, I didn't think we'd play back four. I thought we'd stick to the 3-4-3. Yeah. But I think actually it helped us attack a bit more today. We were in control of the game for large portions. It was a sort of a 15-minute spell. I think the first half where Middlesbrough had 51% possession, but overall I think really just killed them down the right-hand side as well. Like Mount, Ziyech were very, very good in this game, and yeah, just professional performance, really.
I agree. There's not really, like I said, for me, obviously the back four was a surprise, but otherwise in terms of the personnel itself, just because I presumed once Jorginho and Kepa went there, I presumed they were both ill of some sort. Obviously now it turns out Jorginho wasn't, but hey, he could do with the rest anyway. And we won, so not really much to complain about. Clutch, were you happy with the team when it came out?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, yeah, Lukaku probably needed to have a run out. Do I still think we need to put Havertz up top? Obviously. But you got to see Pulisic in his best position, Ziyech, Mount, both in their best positions. I'm curious to see how Ruben does in a lone six. I'm not going to lie, because there is a soft spot for Ruben. I do have that, and I don't think, unless he kind of changes the way he does his game a little bit, I don't think he'll be staying. So I do like to see him have that chance to kind of put his stamp on a different position here, probably. Yeah, solid back four. Salah playing his left back role. Didn't think he was that great today, but that is what it is. But part of me kind of thought we would go to a back four, because do we risk keep playing Chalobah even though he's had a couple mistakes in the last couple games? Do we give him a rest that he desperately needed? And without Rudiger, do I think we were going to put Alonso back in there and have the back three of Sarr, Rudiger, and Silva? No. So it wasn't a big surprise, but at the end of the day, like you said earlier, I always want the back four, so it's like to get to see it a little bit more.
There you go. That is fair. Obviously, we got the goals reasonably early on. When was the first one? 15th and 31st minute. So I guess not as early as kind of I had it in memory, if I'm being totally honest. Obviously, first one, scored by Lukaku from a very good crossed by Mason Mount, kind of on the counter, which was started by Thiago Silva, which was lovely. And the second goal was a great goal, again assisted by Mason Mount, even though he didn't have to do that much for that assist. Great goal by Hakim Ziyech. And that was kind of it. Obviously, we had a few more chances, could have scored more. They maybe had one or two chances where they could have done a little bit more with. But essentially, the second half, for the most part, was just, seeing the game out. And I was happy with that. I'm happy with when we try to see a game out, and for once we don't give away a silly goal to make the rest of the game unnecessarily stressful. I'm always happy with that. So why don't we get into the player ratings? And Clutch, I'll start with you. We'll start at the back. We'll start with Rudiger. What do you think?
I thought it was overall solid. Don't know too many times he made a mistake. He almost got into a fight with the ball boy. That was kind of funny. After he did his little high step, the ball boy kind of threw the ball away, and he was sitting there yelling at him. I'm like, it's a little kid. Leave him alone. He doesn't deserve this. But what do I have? 7.5, I think? Yeah, I have 7.5. Thought he was decent. Okay. Pretty overall. Pretty solid today.
Okay, dudes. Let me go to VJ then. What do you think? 7.5 is about where you'd go, or would you go with something different?
Yeah, 7.5 for Rudiger. I mean, he's starting to be the more most consistent player for Chelsea right now in terms of defense, at least with Thiago Silva. I think he's played 39 of the 50 games that we played this season. That is quite a number if you look at for one player. So, I mean, he's been consistent all those games, and today as well.
Wasn't today our 50th game of the season? I think it was.
Yeah, this was the
49th game of the season.
I heard the
so I'm surprised that he didn't start 10 of them, or didn't play 10 of them, if I'm honest. If I think back, if I can really think of 10 games that Rudiger didn't play, because he wasn't injured ever, was he? So to be honest, I'm surprised it wasn't more, but fair play. Go on, Vijay, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just giving you
No, I believe you.
The commentator
it's more like me being surprised at it. It's all good.
No worries, I get it. I think Rudiger, this kind of performance is what we expect from Rudiger. This consistency is what was missing in the initial days as well. He's starting to get that, and he's now become one of the most integral part of the Chelsea's back line. And, I just love his character, man. I'm going to be definitely missing him if he's leaving Chelsea next season.
Bloody hope he's not leaving, but I'm still confident that he will stay. Let's see whether that confidence, becomes reality or not. Pice, Rudiger, 7.5 so far. Is that what you'd agree with as well, or would you go with something different?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of 8s in the chat, but I think 7.5's good, and then maybe review it later. But yeah, he did play really solid. Passes were good. I'm missing his forward runs now. I'm not noticing too many forward runs and shots today, but overall, yeah, I think he was pretty solid. But really, the guy next to him was the one cutting out everything and just being positionally amazing and tracking every run and thinking one step ahead, So, but yeah, Rudiger's solid as well. Back 4 tacks is not a thing, or back 3 tacks is not a thing with these guys,
No, it really isn't. The only thing it will obviously do being in the back 4 is he will have a few less of those forward runs just because he's, not in a position where he has that freedom as much, I guess. But it is what it is. You boys went 7.5. I probably would have given him the 8. To be honest, I mean, Boro didn't have a single shot on target, someone in the chat said. Not sure if that's true, but someone in the chat said that. And if that's the case, your defenders have done well. And how much more can I really expect? So that's why I would have gone 8, if I'm honest. But hey, it's 3v1, so have that 7.5. No worries. From my end, Thiago Silva, the guy's so good. I mean, I know I keep saying that, but we all keep saying that. But today... And I'm not saying no one else did, maybe Mount and Ziyech as well, but Silva just looked like, not one, but 2 or 3 just classes above everybody else that was there. The way that guy reads the game is just insane. They play across. Thiago Silva, way before the cross ever played, knows exactly where the cross is going to go. Goes there, wins the ball. That's just job done. Every time. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. What a man. The only reason why not the only reason, but one of the other reasons why I wanted to go a tad higher for Rudiger is because I want to go quite high for Thiago Silva because I think he was very, very good. And I don't think Rudiger was 1.5 worse. And I'm going to give Thiago Silva a 9. I don't think he could have done much more. I mean, he instigated or he started the move for the first goal. I'm not sure if he was. I think he might have also been involved in starting the whole move for the second goal too. Don't quote me on that one though, but definitely for the first one. But yeah, I was very happy with him. Like I said, don't quite think it was 1.5 better than Rudiger. But hey, I'm going to go with my 9 for Thiago. Let's see what you guys think. Guys, let's switch it around. 9 a little bit too high for you then if you gave Rudiger a 7.5, or would you still go along with it?
Oh, I don't know. For me personally, I know we scored 2 goals and Mount was really good, but just the way he dealt with everything, and he was going to be my man of the match. It was close, and he did win the official man of the match. I just think, like, Middlesbrough weren't really a threat because of him. Like, there was one instance as well where they got to the edge of the box. I'm pretty sure this guy drilled past 2 players. Silva just stepped forward with 1 foot and just stopped him. I was just like, oh, this is a cheat code. I put in my chat, this guy's a cheat code. Just effortless every single game, bro. Like, I think there was only one time where he got ran past, and that was the new guy that came on up front, and Mendy saved it, and it was just so effortless. So, because he's my man of the match, I give him a 9.5, and then I give Rudiger the 8. That's I think what I'd do actually, thinking back on it.
So 9 for Thiago and also got 8 for Rudiger.
9.5 for Thiago, 8 for Rudiger.
Fair dues.
I want to give him a 10, but I think he'd have to score or something, you know.
I do hear that. Let's finish Thiago off, and then because then it's 50-50 for Rudiger, and then we'll take it to the chat, whether the chat wants to push it up to the 8 as well. So 9.5 for the time being. Clutch, what do you think? What would you give Thiago?
If I was going like wholeheartedly and taking emotion out of it, it'd be a 8.5, but it's Thiago Silva. I can't leave my emotions out of it for Thiago Silva, so it's going to be a 9. There was one moment in the game that they were on the break, and Sarr was trying to chase after the guy, and Thiago Silva, he's just so intelligent. He stepped into the space where the only threat could possibly come and made, I don't remember the guy's name, but he made him have to, he was basically just going to have to do something special to get a shot on goal. It was such a well-read play, and it's just, he like Pai said, he is a cheat code. There's nothing else to be said about him. It's like somehow we are pressing start ABY X3 every game with this guy.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. VJ, finish it off. Thiago Silva, 9 for you, 9.5, potentially 8.5. Where would you sit?
I'm going to go for a 9.5, but then Clutch took my words right out of the mouth. So I was going to say that it's very difficult to actually take emotions out of the equation when we talk about Thiago Silva. Plenty, like we had close to 700 fans up there, in the Middlesbrough game, and they were singing Thiago Silva's song continuously. So you could kind of feel the emotions running through the Chelsea, fans when they talk about Thiago Silva. They just love him. Like, we just love him. I wouldn't be, against it if Thiago Silva stays in the club for 2 more years and maybe then convert into a coach or something. I just want him to be in Chelsea forever. But yeah, Thiago Silva, 9.5 once again. His reading of this game is simply superb. I think it is underrated also a bit because people always talk about the physique, the defensive capabilities, and stuff like that when it comes to defense. And there's more about intelligence that is required as a defender when you play in that back four. That is something that people sometimes miss out on. I think this is a person who survives on that intelligence more than anything. Not that he doesn't have the other attributes, but then he survives on the intelligence a lot more than any other defenders in that, in Premier League. This is Premier League. We've all been appreciating the Premier League's quality and all of this, but a 38-year-old defender playing in the Premier League as if this is a championship is simply superb. Hats off, Thiago Silva.
It is. I could not agree more. But then, ladies and gentlemen, we actually need your help for both Thiago and Rudiger. So put in the chat whether you would give Thiago Silva a 9 or a 9.5, because we've had 2 9.5s and 2 9s. So put in the chat which one of those 2 you would go for, so we can make a final decision, and the same we'll do then for Rudiger. But let's do Thiago Silva first, and then we move on to Rudiger. So put it in the chat, everyone that is tuning in. 9 or 9.5. If you go lower, it will count as 9. If you go 10, it will count as 9.5. So here we are. Go on then. What am I seeing? 9.5, 9, 9, 9.5, 9.5, 9.5. So far, 9.5 is winning. All right. Here is more. All right. 9.5, 9.5, 8.5, a bit harsh. 9, 9.5, 9, 9.5. I think the 9.5 edges it. Yeah, I would say so. And now, ladies and gentlemen, stop typing about Thiago Silva, please. And now let's move on to Antonio Rudiger. Between 8 and 10.5, I have a feeling you're going to go for the higher one, but let's see it. Let's see it. Put it in the chat, 7.5 or 8 for Antonio Rudiger. So we can, especially now that Thiago Silva got it, 9.5. We definitely can't give Rudiger a 7.5 if you ask me. Like, 2 worse, that's harsh, considering they were like the centre-back pairing and defended together for the most part. But hey, go on then. Oh, that was like 17,000 8s in a row, so 8 wins. Thank you, guys, for getting involved. Now, it's slightly more defensive, I guess, of the 2 fullbacks. Malontar slotting in at left-back once again. Not amazing. Not amazing. Got beat a couple of times, although even Thomas Tuchel pre-game said, yeah, Boro will attack down their right-hand side, our left-hand side. So, it wasn't exactly surprising. But, yeah, I mean, should have done better on a couple of occasions. Was okay overall, I would say. I'm going to give him a 6. Don't know whether people will agree. I guess we'll see. Clutch, what do you think? 6 fair, or would you go something different?
What did I have him as? I think I had him as a 5. I thought he had some good defensive moments, and then I thought he had a couple shambolic moments. He had one where he had a needless foul on the box that easily, us with set pieces this season have been just insanely bad, but he wasn't really all that productive going forward. So if you're not productive going forward and defense is all you really have, then I have to go down on at least a little bit of it. So I'd go a 5.
Fair dues. It is reasonable as well. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, can't really remember that much from my notes. I remember one lovely slide tackle in the first half. Otherwise, I remember him like 2 or 3 occasions getting like running behind, and he was like a bit slow to react that was going to happen. But otherwise, didn't really notice him that much, if I'm honest, especially second half. Like, not sure about all of you, but I was a bit dead. Because Boro didn't do enough to challenge us. We didn't do enough to try to get 3rd goal. So it's easy to, like, lose focus a little bit. But hey, I do hold my hands up for that one. VJ, what do you think? Malang Sarr?
I'm going to go for a 6 for Malang Sarr. 5.5 is a bit too low for me, but 6 is fine. First thing is he struggled a lot with that Jones character in Middlesbrough. I mean, he played really well. I kind of think he was too quick for him to deal with. That was a bit of an issue for Sarr. And one more thing that I always have a problem when it comes to Sarr playing that left back. Not that I'd say I prefer Alonso there. The reason why I say that is because it always gives us an option. We can either attack through left or right. When Sarr plays, the entire opposition knows that our right is going to be overloaded in terms of the attack. We saw Aspie playing very high today. He had to do that to just compensate, Sarr's defensive capabilities, attacking capabilities. I think we kind of become predictable in the way that we attack when Sarr plays on that left wing back or left back, whatever it is.
I would counter that by saying if Alonso plays left back, he's the one that goes forward, and Aspie has to stay back because Alonso can't defend to save his life.
You could say that, but if you had observed in the last 4-5 months, right, Aspie is getting a lot of assists or goals going forward on. Like if you look at the numbers,
Aspie has played 1 game in the back 4, maybe 2.
So it means that equally Aspie is as well going forward. It's not that Aspie has to stay back for that. He is still going forward. If Alonso crosses,
no. But what I'm saying is, when he has those assists, he plays wing back. Today he played right back. So if he plays right back and Alonso plays left back, then Aspie is the one that will sit and he won't have the assists.
Yeah, I get you. I get your point there. But what I'm trying to say here is, when Aspie and Alonso play, be it wing back or or fullback, whatever it is, right? There's always an option where you could expect Alonso to run in forward, or you could expect Azpilicueta to run in forward and then try to contribute to the attack. You don't get that with Sarr because everyone knows Sarr is not going to go forward, right? So it's always Azpilicueta who's going to move forward. So it just becomes predictable for you to if we are launching a counter, we're going to go through the right side. We're not going through the left side. Only if Pulisic is the one who's going through the counter, that's when we probably go to the left side. Otherwise, it's completely right side dominated game for Chelsea. And that's something that I'd hate to see against top teams because you just become predictable and then they find out a way to block it.
I see that. I mean, I do see in general what you mean. It's just clearly for Tuchel. Like Alonso has maybe 1 game he played him in a 4. Otherwise, it's always Sarr. He picked always Sarr over Alonso when we played a back 4. that tells you Thomas Tuchel doesn't think Alonso is anywhere near good enough to play in the back four. So, in terms of defensively.
Yeah, I agree to that. I mean, he fullback, not necessarily you have to pick Alonso, but then if Alonso plays, you get that option is what I'm trying to say. With Sarr, you don't.
That is very true. That is very true. But, like Clutch said in the private chat here, imagine their right winger who already kind of played with Sarr at times. Imagine him against Alonso. Oh, my days. We'd be in the mud. But, Pice, we've had 2 6s and 1 5 so far. Where would you go for alongside?
6 for me. I thought it was just average, as he always is on the left-hand side, but I always still think he's better than Alonso, personally. Just much better on the ball. Sure. Yeah, just much better on the ball for me. He always seems more composed, pass it fast as well, in my opinion.
He keeps it very simple. Like, he doesn't very often try something spectacular. Obviously, he had that one ball for Kante at Palace, but in general, he tries to keep it more simple, which sometimes, harms us in terms of how quickly we can attack, potentially, for sure. But I'd rather that than him giving the ball away constantly like Alonso does often, like he did at Lille 3 days ago. But with that said, Pice, I'll just stick with you. Azpilicueta on the other side. I thought Azpi was very good. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought he was good, to be fair. Especially defensively, again, I thought really well timed in terms of didn't dive into tackles or anything. He just defended really well. It was funny actually. I don't know if you guys saw the one that I thought was going to go out for a corner and hit the corner flag for a throw. I thought that was quite funny. I was like, "How's your luck?" But
sporting integrity. We paid off the fucking corner flag.
Yeah, I was watching that and just it was funny. But yeah, I thought he played decent. I'll give him a 7. I think is a fair rating.
Okay. Clutch, what do you think?
I'm going to go 6.5. I think he was a little bit better than average. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think defensively he was very, very solid. He didn't get involved as much as he attacked today, so... Yeah, 6.5. I'll be different, 6.5.
Fair enough. VJ, what about you?
I'm going to go for... Okay, I've given Rudiger a 7.5, so Aspi gets a 7 for me.
7.5, you said?
Yeah. No, I meant I've given Rudiger a 7.5, so Aspi gets a 7 for me.
I can't hear the last thing you say. It's too quiet. Did you say you also give Aspi a 7.5, or will you only give him a 7?
No, I said I've given Rudiger a 7.5, so I will give Aspi a 7.
A 7, fair dues. Yeah, I would have personally gone 7.5, if I'm honest, but in the end we sit with it with a 7. Just that one tackle he made when we were hit on a counter, like the one for Thiago that Pice mentioned. Aspi did that once too, which just stepped up and just went in with the foot, got the ball, sent the guy flying. Brilliant. Very, very happy with that. Yeah, I mean, Clutch makes a fair point. He wasn't that involved in the attacking, but that was also because we were 2-0 up. So why risk anything, really? So I would have gone 7.5. I was pretty happy with him today, if I'm being honest. But hey, we sit at the 7 overall. Loftus-Cheek. Now, that would be an interesting one because I saw a lot of people already in the chat, and I saw a couple of people on Twitter already complaining about him. And don't always try to take a player on. I mean, the big occasion where people kept talking about that was when in my opinion, was clearly fouled. I mean, Boro had a chance from it, but in my opinion, it was a clear foul. And then to me, don't have a go at Ruben for taking someone on. Have a go at the ref for not doing his job properly, in my opinion. Obviously, he did lose the ball on 1 or 2 other occasions, but there was also good moments. There was a couple of lovely dribbles. Yeah, maybe once he could have played Lukaku through, but I will also say, especially on his left foot, he's going for quite a few over the top, but also on the ground through balls, and a couple of them were quite close to coming off. I'm not saying that in terms of he's amazing, because otherwise they would have come off, but a couple of them did. And I quite like the fact that he goes for those. I never really saw Ruben as one that has a particularly amazing passing range, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. And that's me saying that as a big Ruben fanboy. But look at the last FA Cup game against Luton. That assist for Werner was outstanding, and he played a couple of those decent balls today as well. So, maybe gave the ball away on a couple of occasions in the first half. Second half, I thought was very solid. Nothing really much to complain. So I'm gonna go 6.5. Yeah, maybe I should go just 6. But it's Ruben and I love it. So I'm going to go 6.5. There you go. If you guys go lower, there you go. Clutch, what do you think?
I knew you'd come to me first. It's the same story with Ruben. Like, when he starts getting to dribbling mode, he's so good, but then it's just like he doesn't want to release the ball. And we had so many attacks that I think we would have hurt them on if he would have just released the ball instead of trying to take that extra 2 touches. You know what, Laurenz?
That was funny.
I love you so much. 6.5. Yeah. You make life hard on me. No, 6.5. 6.5. 6.5.
6.5. Hey, the chat is going for a throw anyway. I mean, they're not. Some people agree at least on the 6, but some people are like 5 and 5.5. I think that's a bit harsh, honestly. Don't really understand. I get that he doesn't release the ball quickly enough sometimes, but that's why he's not getting an 8. That's how I see that. If you keep the ball for a bit too long, that doesn't take you down to a 5, in my opinion. But hey, everybody, each to their own is what I wanted to say. VJ, let me go to you. We've had 2 6.5s. I can already feel you're going a bit lower. So tell me, what are you going for?
I want to go for a 6. But I stick with a 6.5 because I give Saad a 6.5. So a 6, actually. I felt Saad was probably the worst player on the pitch today, comparatively. So I'll go with the 6.5. Of course, the position that he plays is not something that he is very confident in because he doesn't play very often this position. Whenever he plays, he doesn't get a lot of match time to play this position. It's one of the very important positions that he needs to be playing, right? He's basically playing in front of that 4-man defense, and it's very important to have a lot of confidence when you actually play this position. I don't think so. We are right now giving him that confidence, probably because Jorginho plays it good, or we've got different options. I'm not going to say it is Tuchel's fault or something like that, but then this position requires a bit of confidence, which I think right now he is lacking a bit. So he started this game a bit slower, on the slower side. He was not sure where to position himself. Kovacic had to track back a couple of times to help him out as well. 6.5 is still a good score considering he doesn't play a lot, and then he's played in a very important role today.
Fair dues. And then Pice, 3 6.5 so far. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I probably have to go along with it. I thought he did this. I didn't think some of the ones he got judged on for fouls were actually fouls. I thought the ref was a bit harsh, but yeah, he had a couple of nice dribbles.
Yeah, I also agree with that. Yeah, very good point. Go on. Sorry.
I don't think he played awful. I don't think he played average. I think it was just a bit above average. And whether or not Tuchel thinks it's his best position, you can tell Ruben wants to be more advanced. That's just always been his game. But in the 6, he's doing a job. He did a job today. He wasn't awful. So I think the 6.5 is deserved.
Fair dues. Do you know what, Pies? I'll stick with you on cover. Also, I'll be totally honest. I didn't notice cover that. Obviously, I noticed him. There was moments, but not as much as usual. There was one dribble I think you put in the chat. I'm not sure whether you actually meant that situation. You were like, "What's this ref doing?" And I thought this one he actually got right. If you meant the cover got fouled, I thought the guy might have actually gotten the ball, but we never got a replay, so could well be wrong.
I thought he was tugging his shirt down. To be honest, that's what I saw.
Oh, the shirt you're thinking?
Yeah, I thought he was shoving his shirt, and then he went
got
on
the ball before cover. It just also cover didn't complain at all. So judging from that, I thought maybe it wasn't a foul. But still, in general, what did you think of cover? Like I said, I didn't notice him that much, so maybe you did.
I did, but I more noticed his poor passing today. To be honest with you, he was escaping the press really well, and then every time he went forwards, these passes they just weren't quite clicking today, which was kind of like old cover, he used to go forward and then you'd be like, oh, what's next? There was nothing after that. And it was kind of unfortunate a little bit like that. But I still think he played decent. I'll go for 6.5. I don't think he was any higher than that. But he come off early again. So whether or not that's rest or I'm not sure. But Tuchel obviously is taking internationals. I just seen some of his press comments. He's talking a lot about the internationals and the players and things. So he's like one of Croatia's key players with Modric. So, I guess that might have played a factor with. Did Mount come off as well?
Don't think he did.
No, he did. He played all 90.
I'm very surprised with that actually, because I'd imagine he'd be playing quite a bit for England.
But to be fair, did we have another midfield on the bench? I guess Barkley.
Yeah, could have.
That was never going to happen. Please don't make my eyes bleed.
I mean, we took off Ziyech.
Like that.
We took off Ziyech. He's not going to go for any friendlies, right? It's international. So we could have just had him on the pitch for 90.
Yeah.
Did Ziyech come off?
Yeah, he came off, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah,
I was surprised by that, to be fair, when he did come off. Because I saw Kennedy getting ready, and I saw the tweet of Kennedy coming on. Then I was like, but who's he coming on for? I thought he might come on for Saar, but then obviously he didn't. But hey, here we are. 6.5. Clutch, would you agree on that 6.5, or would you go for something different for good old cover?
I think he was better than Ruben today. I do think that, because I do think he had a couple nice runs, and he was trying to pass forward progressively. One of the things that did annoy me, and it wasn't even just a him thing, we kept trying to do that pass into Lukaku that for him to hold it up, and they just kept getting taken away because they knew that's what was going to happen, and Lukaku didn't really move all that much today. But I can't really fault him for trying that ball, because I mean, you got to try that ball to make it work eventually. But I do think he was better than Ruben. For me, I gave Ruben the 6.5. For you, so for Pius, I will give Kovacic the 7. But I do think Kovacic was probably a 6.5.
Fair dues. Vijay, what do you think, Kovacic?
I think apparently I also have to go with the 7 because, I gave 6.5 for Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and right now for Kovacic, I kind of have to go a bit higher than that because he was also tracking back to save RLC a bit at times. And one thing that I'd really like Kovacic to do going forward is we've got 2 goals in our kitty already, so why not start taking a bit of shots from 30 yards? I mean, you can probably do it. These are the games that you can actually try and do that. So why not try and do that? So, I mean, it's just about we anyways talk about game management and all of that. Once you've made sure we have this 2-goal lead in 30 minutes time, why not try and take those shots? Yeah, you're going to be missing it, but who knows? Before the game started, Chelsea actually posted a video on Twitter where Kovacic scored a top right corner shot of just a training ground routine. But then he's got that shot. He might have to try it a bit when we are in the lead, and if it's not going to affect the game too much. So I'd really love for Kovacic to improve that side of his
game. To be honest, not even just cover. I think that for almost all of our players, except Ziyech and some games, Mount, shoot more. I think about all of them, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But hey, so you went 7 like Clutch did you?
Yep.
There you go. If I'm just because I don't want to make anything up, and like I said, I didn't notice him that much, not in a good way, not in a bad way. That's why I'm just going to give him a 6. That might not be fair. Like I said, I'm totally holding my hands up for that, but I can't just make something up, right? So that's why I'll say 6, which probably leaves at a 6.5. But hey, let's move on. Mason Mount, in terms of overall performance, Thiago Silva, sure, in terms of defenders, but in terms of our attacking players, Mason Mount, definitely the star of the show. 1 lovely assist, great cross. Didn't really leave Lukaku much work to do, just had to tap it home. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was kind of in the middle of everything positive that we did attacking, really. But I didn't think it was outrageously great. I'm going to go 8.5. Oops, whatever that sign is. Yeah, I'm going to go 8.5. I don't think it was quite a 9, but I think it was a tad better than an 8. So I'm going to go 8.5. Also, 20 goals and assists this season already now. Well done. Obviously, people keep saying he doesn't get enough assists from open play. Well, got 2 today, got 1 in the last game. So, it's also improving on that because I don't actually think people are wrong when they say that. I think maybe sometimes people pick on him more than they do on others because a lot of others have just no assists. At least he has them from set pieces. It's better than nothing. But hey, he's also getting those from open play now, so fair play to him. Well done. Stepped up. And yeah, I say 8.5. Vijay, what do you think? 8.5 or something different?
I want to go with a 9 for Mason Mount today because today the way that he played was he combined well with Ziyech. That's the first thing, and the second thing is whenever he tried to cross in, he didn't want to pull it back. He didn't look for a second and then crossed it. He did everything first time. He went in, he knew what he had to do. He started putting in those crosses. He exactly knew where Lukaku was positioned. I think one of the crosses Lukaku and both Pulisic as well missed. If that had gone in as well, I think he would have gotten another assist too. So I think Mason Mount has been influential in the way that we are actually trying to build up the game on the right flank. Extremely good on that side. Of course, we've talked about Mason Mount being out of form and all of that, but then his numbers still tell a different story altogether because he's so involved in the game, hard work sometimes. I'm not a fanboy of Mason Mount or anything, but then today's game was kind of, he took it one notch higher in terms of his work rate and the way that he combined with Ziyech. So fair plays to him. I'd say 9 for Mason today.
Fair enough. Tuchelista, by the way, I do apologize that I didn't see your super chat as we were talking about cover, which is obviously what you sent it for. So I appreciate the donation very much, saying cover deserves a medal for the number of times he tries to find Lukaku, but Lukaku's over first touch ruins it. I will actually highlight the super chat for me, so I can highlight it again when we get to Lukaku and discuss whether people agree with this. But I appreciate your donation very, very much. Okay, 8.5 and 9 so far then for Mason Mount. Price, let me ask you, which one of the two, or something different, would you go for Mason today?
Well, I mean, I kind of have to give him at least the same rating as Thiago Silva, right? Because just as much as Thiago Silva was influential in defence, going forward, Mount really did pretty much everything in terms of just how we attacked, how we started the attacks. Obviously got the assist, which Lukaku scored. I just thought he was brilliant today. I saw something earlier which was like his official stats and like his chances created was crazy. I can't quite remember it now, but
I remember one journalist tweeting during the second half, by the 53rd minute, he had 100% pass success in the final third.
That's it. Yeah, I thought that was very good. Yeah, I mean, I have to give him a 9.5 because he was just so important going forward. I think otherwise my other rating wouldn't really make sense for Silva. They were both influential, just on opposite ends of the pitch today.
I guess so. Before I got to Clutch, why I didn't go quite as high is because he was a midfielder today, and I do think mostly in the first half, also sometimes the second half, I do think we just lost a little bit more control than I would have liked against the championship side, and him being a midfielder, that also includes him. Hence why I didn't go quite as high. If he was like in the front three and played like he did, I would have probably agreed with Pice, but that's why I went a little bit lower. Clutch, we have 1 8.5, 1 9, and 1 9.5. Where would you go with him?
I have all the decisions here. This is a good day for me. Now, what do I want to do? I can't disagree with Pius's logic, to be fair, so you know what? 9.5. Even though I rated Rudiger or Thiago Silva a 9, and that's probably what my heart would say for Mount, but I have to put him and Thiago Silva on the same level because they both contributed to the win today as equal as each other. So the one moment, though, talking about with VJ, I'll get to that one. Lukaku comes. I'll just say 9.5 for Mount.
Fair enough. Leaving it at 9, fair dues. But I will actually stick with you, Clutch, as we go to Christian Pulisic. What do you make of him? I saw quite a bit of criticism on Twitter, but it was like 3 or 4 people, right? So when I say that, I'm not saying there was hundreds. But were you happy with him today? Why do you think he potentially struggled to be as effective as he tends to be when he plays in this position?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he had a tough job. He had a couple frustrating moments, I think, in the first 15 minutes with the two Jones and I can't even remember how to say the other guy's name, but that center back. And if you go to look at
his name, let alone can I say it?
Yeah. But if you go and look at Boro's stats, the guy back there had the best game but he was pretty much shutting Pulisic out. I think he had a tough go today. I don't think he was terrible by any means. I just think he kind of struggled, and I think he did take a knock whenever he slipped and twisted his knee or whatever, because he didn't look as fast. But there was also a pass that Ziyech could have made earlier that if he would have put better weight on it, I think Pulisic would have been a one-on-one with the goalie. But other than that, not too much. I think he fumbled quite a couple of chances that he had. He had that one moment for whatever reason he tried to kick the ball out of play and then just kind of sat there, like we were discussing in the private chat earlier. I'd just go 6. I think an average. I don't think he was bad. I don't think there was any negatives that I can remember. But he was making those classic Pulisic back post runs. The thing I do think is him and Lukaku don't really work together because he just seems to, Lukaku just kind of seems
static and takes up the areas that Pulisic wants to get in.
Yes. So I mean, so for me, people want to talk about how Giroud was good, but at least Giroud moved. That's kind of the difference. Lukaku just didn't
Giroud
move.
dropped at least. Like, Giroud didn't move that much like this way, but Giroud moved this way, and Lukaku just goes... That's what he does all game. But he scored and was okay today. Like, I'm not going to be harsh on Lukaku. I just, sorry.
But yeah,
go on.
I'd probably go with average 6.
Fair dues. Yeah, I'd probably go for the same, if I'm honest. Like, I could go lower, but I do think pretty much all of the time when the ref gave a foul against him, against the defender, I don't think that was ever a foul. Like, not on one of these occasions was that a foul. And if he doesn't get a wrong free kick called against him, he could be through and goal. So that's why I'm not going to go below the average score. Obviously, we don't know what he would have done with it. I understand that completely. But I just think the ref was harsh on him. It's Pulisic. The guy gave fouls on him for shoulder-to-shoulder things. I'm like, have you not read the rule book? He never put his arm out, which is what usually makes it a foul compared to normal shoulder-to-shoulder. Again, a bit confused by that, what the ref was doing. I mean, Pice mentioned it earlier. He just gave weird fouls, and then on other occasions, he didn't give clear fouls, like one on Ruben and a couple of others. But yeah, that's why I'm going to give him the slight benefit of the doubt, just because I think he would have done more had the ref not killed all of his good pressing moments. But there was also the one moment close to or towards the end of the game, just before he got subbed off, really, when he lost the ball just in front of our box. And did Mendy have to make a save? Or was it a block? Whatever. But anyway, he gave the ball away in a very dangerous position. He basically turned into Pedro.
Yeah, they kicked the ball over the top. They just
they kicked it. They played it over. But regardless, right? They should have done better with it, and he turned into Pedro and shouldn't have given the ball away there. But like I said, I will give him the benefit of the doubt with those free kicks. I just disagreed with them personally. But hey, up to anybody else to decide. BJ, why don't I go with you? Myself and Clutch went with 6. What do you think?
I'll go for the 6.5. Apparently, one more thing that we also have to realize is that Jones person on their left flank was, on their right flank was a bit quick for Pulisic to deal with initially. He was tracking back very well. He was running along with Pulisic most times. He was finding it very difficult to get past him and then, whipping across as well. So, not taking. I mean, yeah. So the reason why I say it's 6.5 is because, like you mentioned, Lukaku also is taking up a bit of his space, his zone. He runs in and he kind of is not able to find the space. I personally think Mason Mount, the way that he crosses the ball, Ziyech that he crosses the ball, you don't get that from Pulisic. Pulisic is more direct, and he comes in, he cuts in, comes into the the 18-yard box and tries to attempt for a shot and things like that, right? So that's a different game altogether. So that requires a bit of a space for him to run into, which I don't think so Lukaku is right now giving. But yeah, for him, I'll give a 6.5, given the context of the game and given the physical nature of the championship team that we're playing with as well. So 6.5.
Fair enough. And then for you, Pice, what would you go for Pulisic today?
I'm debating between a 6 and a 6.5. I just think, was he realistically that much worse than Ruben? Did he do the same level? Does he get... I don't know, he was involved, but he kind of wasn't at the same time. So I don't know whether that levels out as average or he gets the same rating as Ruben. Because realistically, I don't think he did too much less than Ruben. I think he was involved similar amounts. So I will go 6.5, but kind of unsure on it.
Fair dues. In that case, then, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat, we have 2 6.5s and 2 6s. So please do help us out, although judging from what I've seen so far already, pretty much everybody's would want to go even lower than 6. So let's see. But yeah, put your ratings for Pulisic in the chat. And either if you go lower than 6, it will just count as a 6. If you go higher than 6.5, it will count for high. There you go. Pulisic max 4. Fair enough. 6, 6.5, 5. I mean, Fantasy PJ Tour saying if Mount, did that, he'd be getting a 3. Not sure I agree, mate, but fair enough. Yeah.
That rating is all over the place. ranging
It
from
is
4 to
5,
7.
7, 5.5, 6.5, 6.25. Well, Adash, you're getting cancelled for that. Where's that? Come on, ladies and gentlemen, put it in the chat because right now I can't decide yet. So I need more of you to make it a bit more decisive. 6.5, right? Still equally as indecisive as it was 12 seconds ago. 6.5 and 5, but that counts as a 6. So it's still equally as indecisive as it was a minute ago. Maybe Adash will... Oh, 2 5s. Okay. Now that was enough. Let's give him the 6 then. Didn't even put the 6.5 there. I do apologize. Let's get to Hakim Ziyech on the other side then. Obviously scored a great goal on his birthday. How old did he turn today? 29? 28? What was it?
I want to say 29.
I feel like it's 29 as well, if I'm honest. Let me just Google that.
It's 29.
Quickly.
It's 29.
It is 29. There you go. So he turned 29 today, scored a lovely goal to top it off. Yeah, it's just a great strike. Someone tweeted, I think it was Liam Toomey who tweeted, like, how can you give the keeper the eyes from 30 yards? Because the keeper was really expecting that near post finish where he was going far post. I really wonder whether Ziyech meant for it to dip again at the end or whether he was actually aiming for top corner, but he hit it in a way that it dipped. I'm not sure. But it was a great goal regardless, and it was a good performance. Otherwise, could have had a couple of other moments. Yeah, did okay. Like, I'm going to... Mount got a 9. I do think it was just shy of Mount. I mean, I gave Mount an 8.5, but I guess if Mount has a 9, I will give Ziyech an 8.5. I don't think it was quite as good as Mason. Maybe I want to go 8. I'm not sure. I'm debating between 8.5 and 8. I'll see what you boys say. Maybe you'll help me make my own mind up. Clutch, why don't I go first with you this one? What do you think?
I thought he did really well. He was combining well with Mace, and like we said multiple times, I think Mason on this right-hand 8 position with Ziyech as that right wing is just, it's a combo made in heaven. They link up so well together. Mace can run into that space if Ziyech drops back. Ziyech has got the passing range to find him. Mace can stay in midfield. Ziyech can go up there. It's a combination that is so deadly against opponents, and I do think that the goalie probably should have done better for that shot, but it was still a good shot nonetheless. He's probably one of the only players on our team that's going to make that shot. So we got to give him credit where it's due. I'd probably go for an 8 if I'm being wholeheartedly, but yeah, I'm gonna stick with an 8 to be different.
Fair enough. Someone's at 29. Pice, what do you think? 29?
What's that?
Someone in the chat said he should get a 29 rating. Bit high.
Oh. I think he deserves an 8.5. The goal was good. I think his pressing was good. All round, I think he was really good on the ball. His link-up was really good as well. Yeah, I think an 8.5 because Mount's got 9.5. I don't think he was...
No, Mount got a 9. From you, he got a 9.5.
Oh, okay.
He has a 9 overall.
Well, in that case, then I might go with an 8 because it levels out. Like, I think one rating below.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can do, if you want. Fair dues.
I don't know. It's hard.
Anything you want to elaborate?
No, I want to give him an 8.5.
Bro, you can.
Go on then. I'll give him an 8.5.
Fair dues. 2 8.5s and 1 8 then, for the time being. VJ, where do you sit?
Birthday boy, getting a goal for himself. That bottom left corner finish, brilliant. I think he also got a pre-assist, if you could really call that, because the way that we released pressure for the first goal, Thiago Silva initiated that pass to Azpilicueta, then to Ziyech with through ball to Mason Mount with the cross, and Lukaku.
It's a good through ball as well, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go for a 9 in this case. For me, he was good. I think he still have another gear which he possibly could have played. He didn't actually want to maybe, but then I think he's got furthermore capability in him to just go one more gear if he wanted to. I'm going to give a 9 for Ziyech.
Fair enough. Leaves us at the 8.5 in the end, regardless. For Lukaku, Pice, I want to go with you first. Let me actually highlight the super chat from earlier because it was about that, and I want to ask you: do you agree with that today? Because I mean, people know I'm very critical of Lukaku, but if I'm honest, I didn't know you meant he turned 29. The guy that said 29 didn't mean rating 29. He turned 29. Sorry, reader. I apologize. But even I didn't really notice Lukaku. Like, obviously, a couple. It's Lukaku. I'm not expecting him to be Messi, but no, to an extent where I was like, unhappy with his touch. Did you
No,
think so?
I think it might have been a more overall comment.
It could have been
Because it
overall.
has been times where, his first touch has definitely messed up a few of Cover's passes. But, today I think, credit where credit's due. He played pretty well all round. He got the goal. His hold-up play was brilliant. But I will say is that Middlesbrough give us so much time. It was like a reincarnation of the first game he played against Arsenal, where you just pop the ball into him and he'd lay it off. But that only happened because they didn't have any DM to cut the passing lanes. So it was, that was very easy for us to just put the ball to him and play it off him. Whereas if you have cover, happens in the Premier League, we don't really get those balls to him a lot. Because when we do as well, Premier League defenders are just more faster to get him the ball. So then you say, we're using him like Giroud, which is true. But like in this type of game, it worked really well because I don't think that the defenders were... Basically, Lukaku just kind of bullied them, to be honest. But even still, like, it's a weird one because I was listening to the analysis after the game and I agree, like, certain moments, like the ball dropping in the box and things like that from corners where he just didn't latch onto it. He wasn't, like, anticipating things. Like, he wasn't...
It doesn't look sharp to me.
No, it doesn't look sharp.
Someone
It's
said in
weird.
the chat he needs to lose weight. I'm not sure if it's that.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Doesn't look sharp, does he?
No, it doesn't look... It didn't look that sharp. Like, I thought, obviously he's running around so much more than he did before, but I'm just talking about, like, there was a couple ones, like, in the box and just runs across the box and things like that. Like, pretty sure Ziyech, was it Ziyech? Yeah, Ziyech had, like, a toe punch shot. And, like, there was no way, in my opinion, that from what I saw, he could have passed to Lukaku. And when he took the shot, Lukaku was, like, shouting at him, like, pass the ball, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, make a run across the box, and then you get the ball.
Especially because is that on the counter? Is that the one on the counter? You mean?
I think so. Like Ziyech, I think it was Ziyech. He took it, like he just kept running, and then he took like this toe punch shot, which the keeper just saved with his hand, and Lukaku was going mental at him, and I was like, what? Like, why are you going mental? I don't understand that.
But then doesn't celebrate when he scores. Why do you go mental if you don't care if you score anyway?
Yeah, to be honest with you, like the Ziyech one as well, he didn't celebrate. I think it was just because it was Middlesbrough, I'm guessing. I don't know. But even though they shouldn't have that attitude, though, if that's the case.
It's a quarter-final.
It's a quarter-final. You know what I mean? It's like the Brighton one. Like, why are they not celebrating? Remember that Brighton goal that Ziyech scored?
Yeah, at least against Brighton,
like,
we played so bad, I could kind of get it, maybe. But
yeah, I don't know. I'm always one where I'm like you. I like to see the players celebrate because it makes you feel happier as well. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Like the Mason Mount one, bro. When he scored against Norwich, he just runs over and does that knee slide to the fans. Like, I don't care if it's Norwich, bro. Like, that just makes everyone feel so much happier.
Yeah, and it makes him feel better about himself as well.
Exactly. Like, show some hype or something that you're happy. Like, it's weird. But rating, overall, I think between an 8.5 and a 9, personally. I think 8.5.
Oh, that high. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I think because of the hold-up play as well, I'm countering that, and I thought his hold-up play was really good.
Okay, fair. Clutch.
You went 8.5. Oh, wow. Let's see here. Like I said, I don't think we're as fluid because he's a static striker, and in our system it doesn't work. The players around him need space to operate. Ziyech is a little bit different because his space is a little bit from deeper, but I think it wasn't really his fault the passes were coming into him. I just think it got like repetitive. I don't think it was his touch that actually is the reason why we kept losing the ball. I think they just stepped in front. They just knew it was coming and they stepped in front. He did get on the goals. The one thing I didn't like, or what I was going to mention earlier, is the moment earlier where Mount passed it in and the defender tipped it and it ended up Pulisic and Lukaku both had chances at it. I think the defender knocked it away and kind of put it off balance. But what I really liked was Lukaku made that near post run and Pulisic made the far post run. If he did that more often, they were both making that same run today on the far post for whatever reason. There was multiple times I've seen Pulisic and Lukaku basically at the same area. And Lukaku needs to understand, like, the back post is where that left winger needs to be. he needs to be on that near post. There would have been so many more goals today if we were done doing that, because Ziyech was whipping the balls in, but the defenders were all stacking up, so a little 5'8" Pulisic isn't going to do anything. And we know Lukaku doesn't win headers like that, so there's little moments that I think Lukaku needs to improve on, because I do think there's a good player there. I really do. But I don't think he fits our team, and I'd rather our team look better. But we needed Havertz to have a rest today, so... You know what? We'll give him an 8. I'll give him an 8. I was going to go 7.5, but I'll give him an 8.
Fair enough. BJ then. Oh, and also, Reader, appreciate the super sticker very, very much. You could obviously add your statements, but appreciate it if you just want to donate without saying anything. BJ, 8.5 from Pice and an 8 from Clutch. Where would you go?
I'm going to go for an 8, and I agree completely with Clutch when he says the far post and near post run, the way that they actually made that run. That's actually a brilliant observation, Clutch. Kudos for doing that. If you remember 2-3 months back, we were talking about so much of process from Ziyech just going for a waste because we didn't have anyone in the far post to actually finish it. Back when Cho was playing most of the games, he didn't actually want to make that far post run. Rather, he was more on that left side aloof, right? But Pulisic is trying to do that. He's trying to come in. Maybe his natural game is so direct that he's more comfortable playing in the in the center or inside the box, that he naturally just drifts towards the center position, and then he's able to occupy that left the far post during those crosses. I think that kind of inadvertently helps the way that the attack is going forward, because you kind of get a 2 in the front, like a 4-4-2 when the cross is being delivered at least, right? Because because Pulisic is on that far corner. I think that will help us going forward in the games as well, because that also kind of breaks the defense a bit, because we always see Lukaku being strangled between two defenders, marked tightly between the two defenders. He's not able to get his legs on the ball, probably because they know there's just one person on the box that we need to be marking, and then that's Lukaku. Right now, if Pulisic is also running into the same space, obviously there's going to be a confusion between that 18-yard box, and that could probably get converted into a goal very easily. I think that's a brilliant observation, Clutch. But yeah, I give him an 8 for today's game.
Fair play. I mean, it's going to sound like I have an agenda again, even though, for me, being nice, I was going to give him a 7. I don't quite understand where 8's, especially in 8.5, but even where 8's are coming from, quite frankly. He scored a tap. I agree with Pice. He had good hold-up play. But what else did he do good? He had good hold-up play and he scored a tap, and that's it.
His work rate was good.
Didn't create chances for other people. And then he had one big chance. It was offside anyway, miles offside. And should that be something, not something to be criticised in and of itself? But anyway, he didn't even get enough power to score from 6 yards. So that was a bit poor. But I'm not going to hold that against him because it would have been offside anyway. But hey, I was going to go 7. I thought that was quite nice. But hey, I'd probably leave it at an 8 anyway. So I'll let you have it. Fair play. Let's get through the subs then. The first two, as a double substitution, was Timo Werner coming on for Christian Pulisic and N'Golo Kante coming on for Mateo Kovacic. The other two will get an NA anyway, probably. But these two, we can give a rating for. Vijay then, Timo Werner, Kante, just keep it a bit short. It's only the subs, really.
Yeah, I didn't have much to do, right? Werner and Kante, to be honest. Maybe both of them a 6.5. Both of them.
We can do whatever you want, mate.
I felt they weren't impact substitution or something like that. So just came in, did what was required of them. Kante was basically brought in to hold the lead, right? And they just did the job. So Werner 6.5 and Kante as well as 6.5.
Fair enough. I mean, why not do them one all together, I guess. Pice, both of them individually, obviously, what would you give them?
Kante and Werner. To be honest with you, I mean, Werner had the one where his shot got blocked. I was wondering whether that was just a terrible miss or whether they just didn't, it wasn't really his fault. Kind of not sure. Kante had the one good run where somehow he managed to get past the guy near the byline and keep it on. But apart from that, to be honest with you, I'd probably just give them NAs, to be honest with you. I don't really remember anyone of the subs doing much. Maybe 6.
But Werner had that header from Mason's corner.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah. Okay, Werner 6. Kante 6. I think they both get 6s.
Fair enough. To be honest, I probably agree. I mean, maybe I'd go for Kante's 6.5 just because he was more involved. I don't even want to hold that too much against Timo, if I'm honest, on it as a one-off. I mean, the header was decent, actually. It was a reasonable save. But also the first touch he had in the game bounced like 3 yards off him. So I think I will, just for that, we'll limit him to a 6 from my perspective. But I will give Kante 6.5. Clutch, finish it off for these two.
I thought Kante had a lot of energy. There was a moment where he was battling and sprinting with that Jones character on the side, and he won a foul. So that was a little bit of a positive for Kante. Werner had the header, but he also had a sitter that he should have made.
Oh yeah,
Wasn't mishit.
I forgot.
I do think he had a good header. But that sitter was a really bad miss, so I'm probably going to go 5.5. Because it was a really bad...
I agree with you. It's just typical Werner. But none of us even cared anymore that much. We were 2-0 up, and they weren't really threatening. So that's what we're not annoyed about. But imagine that sitter when it's like, say, 1-1. We're fuming. But hey, here we are. And what, you're going to go for N'Golo then, 6.5 or higher?
What'd you say? I'm sorry?
Did you want to go for Kante, keep the 6.5, or would you going to go
6.5? 6.5.
Fair dues. Harvey Vale and Kennedy, obviously the two other subs, but they came on in the 81st and 84th minute respectively. I can't remember either of them really doing anything, if I'm honest. So probably best to just keep it as an NA. And obviously to finish things off, Thomas Tuchel and the performance rates. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still here, I appreciate you very much. Subscribe if you haven't already, and smash the like button for me. That would be very much appreciated. Thomas Tuchel, Clark, why not stick with you? What would you give?
I'm gonna give him an 8. I think he set up really well. I think he got the perfect blend of rest and calmness, I guess. So we got the best out of a formation while also resting a couple key players. I mean, we got Havertz rest, we got Jorginho rest, we got Chalobah rest. Chalobah's the one I really hope that does the world of good for, because we need him to come back and we need him to be tip top, because we got one game, we got Brentford, then we got Real Madrid, and things get serious. So we got 3 weeks, is it, till Real Madrid? 3, I think, something like that.
Could be.
But so we're gonna need all these players on tip top shape.
Sorry, you said you're 8. Mendy, I forgot again. I'm so very sorry. Throw that one in there as well, Clutch, why not you?
7. I think he had a couple good saves. I think he did really well today. So I'd go above the average 6 for him. I think he had a couple good saves. He had a couple good moments, a couple good punches. So I'd go 7 for him.
It's weird because the stats here say they had no shot to target and he didn't make a save. Obviously, he caught a couple of crosses well, but yeah. But I'd probably agree with you on the 7 if I'm honest. Just quickly, VJ, Pice. VJ, let me go with you first. 7 for you, or would you go something different for Mendy?
Mendy. How many shots did he have to actually save?
None,
right?
He just caught crosses.
Yeah, so...
He caught those well, to be fair.
Yeah, let's go with 7. I mean, I'd go for a... Can we go for an ending?
Not quite sure we can do that for a goalkeeper that played.
But yeah, let's go for a 7.
Fair news. Pice, what about you for the goalie?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the Mendy one where I think it was like a cross or something, and he managed to keep it in, and the commentators were raving over it for some reason. My mind's gone blank, but I'm trying to remember it. May have stopped the corner or something, but other than that, I don't really remember too many things he did. I'll go 6.5.
Fair. Pice, I'll stick with you. Unless, Clutch, did you want to add anything to your Tuchel explanation? I do apologize because I interrupted.
No. We're good.
There you go. Pice, Clutch went 8 for Tuchel. Would you go higher? Would you go, I presume not lower, but what would you go for?
It's a hard one, isn't it? Like, job was done, played pretty well. Team was, I think it was the right team selection. subs were. I mean, I would have preferred him to bring on Vale earlier than Werner, but I'm guessing that's just squad and morale and crap like that. You know, politics, squad politics. I'll give him a 9, actually. I'll give him a 9 because this game had the potential to be a banana skin. It just wasn't. We were just a class above them, in my opinion.
I completely agree with you, mate. I was going to go 9, just like yourself, for similar reasons as yourself. Like, I mean, Ralf Rangnick flopped against Middlesbrough. Antonio Conte flopped against Middlesbrough. And they, as far as I'm aware, rotated less than we did. Could be wrong on that one. But yeah, like Clutch said, it was a nice mix of rotation and not rotation. I guess the back four, if we play a back four, is kind of what we have right now in terms of fit and available players. But obviously, Ruben starting, Lukaku starting, you know, that means we were rotating. So, yeah, I will go 9. I think it's done well. It's another semi-final. It's another trip to Wembley. So, yeah, I was pretty happy with that. VJ, finish it off. 1 8 and 2 9s for Thomas Tuchel. What would you go for?
I'm going to go for an 8.5. I mean, I thought the only thing that we could have probably done better is that put the game, to bed even more with one more goal, right? In the second half or something like that. Like we were so stagnant without a goal after like 30 minutes, which I think we, deserved to score. But yeah, that's just being too harsh on Tuchel. If you think about Thomas Tuchel right now, it's very difficult to just completely keep the off-field stuff that are going on out of the equation and just rate him on the field, because I think there is a lot of context when you need to that you need to be actually bringing in with respect to Chelsea right now. The mentality of the players is basically because how Thomas Tuchel is reacting to situations, the way that he's handling media. I think to maintain a young squad like this at this very difficult time requires a lot of expertise, patience, and know-hows, which I think Thomas Tuchel knows exactly how to do it. Again, an epitome of a manager, and Thomas Tuchel gets an 8.5 for me today. If he got another goal, then I would have just gone for a 9, but 8.5 for me.
Fair dues. Before we go to the performance, and I will start with you there, VJ. The only thing I will say is I think it's a bit of a myth that our team is so young. Like when you look at the players that usually start, I mean, now that it's Kai over Lukaku, that obviously helps. But I mean, Jorginho isn't young, Kante isn't young, Kovac isn't young. Those three always start. Thiago Silva is very old. Rudiger isn't young. Aspi always starts. He isn't young. Christensen is like mid-20s, so that's not old, but not young. Mendy's nearly 30 or whatever. Sure, Malang, Saab, and Chilwell, but often also Alonso starts, who's old. So Ziyech turned 29 today. I don't think we're as young as some people try to make it out to be, but hey, here we are. VJ, I'll start with you though. Performance rating. I'm not sure if you've actually been on a stream where we've done a performance rating. It's just how did you rate the overall team performance on the pitch?
Okay, that's new for me. So maybe I'll go next. Just analyzing what the others have to say about it.
That is reasonable. Clutch then. Why don't you go first?
I think it's a tale of two things. I think like the first 30 minutes or so, we were really good. That performance probably would have been an 8, but I think it drops down to like a 7 for the rest of the game because I think we just kind of took our foot off the gas for a little bit. We just kind of played it a little bit slow, played out the victory, kind of like we usually do when we start to get decent leads. They didn't really threaten us because our defense is just that much better. So I'd probably go 7 overall. I'm going to go 7.5.
Okay. Price, I'll give VJ another chance to listen to somebody. So what would you say?
Pretty much like Clutch, to be fair. I think it levels out. I was going to go 8, but I think 7.5. No, you know what? I'll go 8 because I think, again, banana skin potential. I thought we dealt with the atmosphere really, really well. And I think when we was discussing this before, I was like, Chelsea are so experienced that we're used to these big atmospheres. And, like, it was crazy, by the way. Like, it was really, really crazy. They were some, like, Middlesbrough Ultras or something, I think. They were, like, banging the drums and, like, it was singing, like, F off Abramovich and all that. It's crazy. F off Abramovich and all this. But yeah, I'll go 8. I think overall it was a pretty decent game. Obviously tailed off in the second half in terms of chances created, but I think that's just a general thing with football sides anyway. When you're 2-0 up, I mean, if we conceded, I reckon we would have won like 4-1 or something. But yeah, I'll go with 8.
Fair dues. VJ, now that we've had 2 people, what would you think?
I get the context now, so I'll go for an 8 as well. I think Pius was referring to that we are the Borough's boys stance, basically, right? They were kind of very vocal. I still think that this is one of the most difficult stadiums to play in when you're playing against a championship opponent. I'm not sure how many championship teams have this sort of a fan following and supporters as much as what Middlesbrough had today. I might be wrong, but yeah, today it felt more of a Premier League game than just playing against a championship team. But yeah, so kudos to that. The mentality again. I bring in a lot of this off the game stuff that is happening around, because that's something that we very closely follow right now, and we've been continuously apprised with that sort of an information. If that can have this sort of an impact for us as fans, I'm sure that's going to be even more higher for players playing in that pitch. So for handling the way that they're handling right now, that deserves an 8, of course. So an 8. First half, 30 minutes, we sealed the deal. Just was worried if they get 1 goal, they could be back in the game and the momentum could shift towards their side. That's why I expected another goal. But yeah, that was like 2 goals.
I mean, if I'm being honest with you guys, I probably would have gone 7. That puts us back to 7.5, just because like we scored 2 goals. It was just a professional performance. Like, yeah, I mean, Pius and VJ are definitely right. Was the potential for banana slip? They kicked out Spurs and United, 100%. And it was, difficult. It's an away ground, but like if I give it an 8 for beating Middlesbrough 2-0, what do I do if I beat Real Madrid 2-0? Do I go for 17? So, like, do you know what I mean? So that's why I feel like beating Newcastle 2-0, especially when Middlesbrough 2-0, especially if you get 2 reasonably early goals in the second half, kind of just see it out. To me, that's more professional than very good. Hence why I'm going to go 7. But puts us back to 7.5. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to round it out here with that said. I appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in today. If you are still here, appreciate you very much. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers. So every new subscriber counts. Hit the big red subscribe button for me. Smash the like button as well. Let's get to at least 100 likes. Well, at least maybe pushing it. But, let's get to 100 likes. So everybody, before you leave, hit that like button. Doesn't cost you any money, barely cost you any time. Check out VJ's YouTube channel, as you can see on screen, at Sportswire. Just type it into the search bar, or it's down in the description. Check out Pice's website, Chelsea 365, and of course, please be sure to follow Clutch on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Into the semi-finals, that's just what we do. It's what we do. Hopefully this time it has a better ending, unless, like I said yesterday, if we make the Champions League final before we are in the FA Cup final, just for superstition's sake, lose the cup final so we lose it, just so we win the Champions League final this time. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea, upwards and onwards, and I'll see you next time.